Thus, until I achieve enlightenment, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. Until death, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. From now until this time tomorrow, I perform virtuous deeds with body, speech, and mind. All sentient beings, limitless as the sky, take refuge in the glorious kind Lama Vajradhara, the embodiment of the body, speech, mind, qualities, and activities of the Buddhas of the 10 directions and the 3 times, source of the 84,000 categories of the teaching and Lord of the Sanghas. We take refuge in the kind root Lama and lineage Lamas. We take refuge in the deities of the mandalas of the Idams. We take refuge in all the exalted Buddhas. We take refuge in the perfect Dharma. We take refuge in the excellent order of the Sanghas. We take refuge in all the noble Dakas, Dakinis, and Dharma guardians, possessors of the eye of wisdom. Until I attain the heart of enlightenment, I take refuge in all the Buddhas. I take refuge in the Dharma and likewise in the assembly of the Bodhisattvas. As the previous Buddhas embraced the enlightened mind and progressed on the Bodhisattva's path, I too, for the benefit of all sentient beings, give birth to bodhicitta and apply myself to accomplish the stages of the path.
장주 독해 기바당 장주 셈벨라발라이 대다름신 내바달 대신 돌아 펜돈드 장주 셈네 제계신 대신 드네라발라
In the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha most excellent, I take refuge until enlightenment is reached. By the merit of generosity and other good deeds, may I attain Buddhahood for the sake of all sentient beings. May all mother sentient beings, boundless as the sky, have happiness and the causes of happiness. May they be liberated from suffering and the causes of suffering. May they never be separated from the happiness which is free from sorrow. May they rest in equanimity, free from attachment and aversion. Refuge of all sentient beings without exception, divine subjugator of terrifying Maras together with their hosts of demons, the one who understands all realities without exception exactly as they are, transcending conqueror together with your disciples, please come here to this place. The ground is sprinkled with scented water and strewn with flowers. It is adorned with Meru, the supreme mountain, the 4 continents, and the sun and moon. As a Buddha field I offer it. May all sentient beings attain the happiness of the Buddha fields. Whatever merit I've gathered through prostrations, offerings, confession, rejoicing, beseeching, and praying, for the sake of the enlightenment of all sentient beings, all this I dedicate.
Jesu Yewan Goshen Sowaye Engewa Jose Dage Jezaba Tanje Zobe Chanjo Jembo.
Okay, and then on to page 11. Namo to the Lama of utterly pure appearance and existence, I offer the fundamental ground of appearance and existence. I supplicate you to thoroughly liberate the three realms. Please grant your blessings and overturn the depths of samsara. Sublime Master, wish-fulfilling jewel, crown ornament, the inconceivable, inexpressible mind of the victorious ones, the one endowed with the five wisdoms of omniscience, gracious one, the embodiment of love, precious protector of beings, I supplicate you from within the essence of mind. Please grant your blessings from within the innate nature. Please bless me that I may realize the Dharmakaya that is beyond intellect, this primordially unborn, completely pure mind. Transcending conqueror, the one thus gone, foe destroyer of afflictive emotions, completely perfected Buddha, endowed with logic and virtue, the one gone to bliss, knower of the world, captain, tamer of beings, the unexcelled teacher of gods and men, I respectfully prostrate, completely touching my head to the stainless feet of the unequaled Shakya king. At the time of your birth, leader of two-legged beings, taking 7 steps on this great earth you proclaimed, I am supreme in this world. To you who are wise even then, I prostrate. Possessing a body of complete purity, your sublime form is excellent. An ocean of primordial wisdom, you are like a golden mountain. The one whose renown is evident throughout the 3 worlds, protector of supreme attainment, to you I prostrate. To you who are endowed with the supreme marks, whose face is like an immaculate moon, to you, the one with a complexion like gold, I prostrate. A flawless one such as you among the 3 levels of existence is most exquisite. Unparalleled omniscient one, to you I prostrate. Supreme among humans, captain of those to be tamed, the one thus gone who severs the all-binding fetters, who with senses pacified is utterly pacified and skilled in peace. To that one, the one who dwelled at Sravasti, I prostrate. Refuge endowed with great compassion, totally omniscient one who indicates the way, ground bases for oceans of merit and qualities, I prostrate to the one thus gone. The pure cause free from attachments, the virtue that liberates from the lower realms, the altogether supreme ultimate truth, to the pacifying Dharma I prostrate. Having been liberated, they also reveal the path to liberation. Thoroughly respectful of the 3 higher trainings, they are a field of sublime qualities. To the Sangha I also prostrate. And back to page 9.
loi John Dende Tishin Shekpa
Adra Champa
Ayang Dabara Sobe Sanje Rekwa Dan Shazu Demba Dewa Shekpa Ajete Jemba Jive Duwa Kalo Jurwa Alana Meba Lada Me Namje Tomba Nyame Shai Ji Jaraboy Shabje De Jama Meba La Aguwa Rada Dode Kube Shansa Loi Kanze Kani Sovo Chudanze Sajen de la combat Ane Jitan de na Chocheson Tete Kepa Jila Chanselo Namda Kuma Chodo Susanwa Ayeshe Janso Serje Lumboda Drapa Jitan Sona Langewa Gombo Tuchone Jela Chanselo Zenjo Deba Timie Daweja Asando Dawa Jela Chanselo Duda Chudia Sapa Sonaze Enyame Nyenje Jela Chanselo Menjo Dua Kalo Gyuze Gunjo Jingwa Gyuze Dishin She Wambo Jehan Yeje Zelange Yeyo Shoba Dela Chanselo Gombo Tuje Chedemba Kamje Jembe Tomba Bo Sona Yonten Jansoy Sing Dishin Shekla Chanselo Tabe Toja Tiveju Ekive Genson Le Doshin Jeta Tondan Jojoroba Ajejora Jola Chanselo Tone Tuwe Lam Yanton Alaba Dabla Radegu Shinge Lamba Yonten Shing Gindu Layan Chanselo.
And then to page 15. I prostrate to the youthful Manjusri, to those in the worlds of the 10 directions, however many there are, all the lions among humans who appear during the 3 times. To all of them, without exception, I pay homage with respectful body, speech, and mind. The force of my aspiration prayer for excellent conduct brings all the victorious ones directly to mind. Bowing down with bodies as numerous as atoms in the realms, I prostrate to all the victorious ones. In a single atom there are Buddhas as numerous as atoms, each residing in the midst of their sons and daughters. Like that, I imagine the whole Dharmatatu completely filled with victorious ones. To those with oceans of inexhaustible, praiseworthy qualities, with sounds containing oceans of tones of melodic speech, I express the qualities of all the victorious ones. I praise all the Sugatas. With the finest flowers, the finest garlands, music, ointment, supreme parasols, supreme lamps, and the finest incense, I make offerings to the victorious ones. with the finest cloths, supreme scents, and fine powders equal to Mount Meru, all displayed in supreme and magnificent ways, I make offerings to those victorious ones. With vast and unsurpassable offerings, I venerate all the victorious ones. Through the power of faith and excellent conduct, I prostrate and offer to the victorious ones. Whatever negative actions I have performed with body, speech, and also mind, overpowered by desire, aggression, and stupidity, I confess each and every one of them. I rejoice in everyone's merit, the victorious ones of the 10 directions, the Bodhisattvas, the Pratyeka Buddhas, those in training, those beyond training, and all beings. I request the protectors, the lamps of the worlds of the 10 directions, who, passing through the stages of awakening, attain Buddhahood beyond attachment, to turn the unsurpassable Dharma wheel. I supplicate with my palms joined together those who intend to demonstrate nirvana, to remain for kalpas as numerous as atoms in the realms, for the welfare and happiness of all beings. I dedicate whatever slight virtue is accumulated through prostrating, offering, confessing, rejoicing, requesting, and supplicating to enlightenment.
Page 16.
Page 16. Please turn the wheel of the Dharma of the 2 vehicles and their combination, according to the dispositions and mental capacities of sentient beings. Sanchen Namkye Sampadam Oye Jetai Jetawa Nache Chon Tumo Tewaye Chokye Kolo Kodu So Damge Dogye Jajere Zondon Sam Chu Gu Ngo Song Tong Zi Be Za Ve La Me Xiao La Ku Chao Se Kong Da Zhou Zhou Tong Gen Ye Den Na Dri Ye Wu Mu Ra Chir Wa Kang Sa Da Ten De Tong Be Chu Jin Cha Ren Be Ba San Bu Ren Du Wa Tam Chin De Ye She Nam Mo Ra Ya La Ye Ge Dong Lu Dong Nu Ji Ge Ye Chung Da Da Me Ye Ge Nam Do Wa Gung Je Da Ge Je Zang Ba Tam Ji Ge De Da Ge Chu Den Do. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, so sorry, so we are inconvenient. So we, this morning, power out. So we really rely on this power and everything. So Tinta nga tsu tring ta xia de ka tsang becha da nga tsu dungar se ya ke tini ta ma shu yores.
So today we are picking up, so in the context of the 4 thoughts that turn the mind, the fourth of the four thoughts that turn the mind is contemplating the defects of samsara, the shortcomings of samsara, or cyclic existence. And so today we're picking up in the middle. We started, with the second section last on the 3 types of suffering last week, and now we're picking up in the context, in the middle of the defects of samsara and the 3 types of suffering.
다 suffering 세야지 여러 가지다 지 마타 마치 비킹고라 지 suffering 지도다 인치기 옛날에 다 포베키기 동에 세야지 되네 책대 가르세거래 딱 지 님보미 세나리 얘네 양코지 당가 좀 먹어 완로지 라와 리젝도 인반로지 소리도
So, this word that we have in English, suffering, which is what is often, how this word in Tibetan, dungal, is translated, it kind of covers a certain aspect of what the word means in Tibetan, but it's also, it doesn't quite hit the mark because, so he said, if we don't really think about it, if we don't really examine it, we think what we hear, this word suffering, sounds like something that we really, it's like, there's kind of a strong reaction of what that means, and it has a feeling of, of course, like wanting to push away. But the word itself, of course, it embodies that, but also it's kind of getting at the lack of real essence and cyclic existence. So it's a little bit more, it embodies more than what the word suffering in English means, or encompasses more.
that indu yin yang tanga so somno yabo ji dana tanga so mis karsan khong chuwa na gere tenjor ju mulu se yati ko za chimbo hyuri stati nenga chimbo hyuji chadi yorwa ti indu tine
And so if we really think about it, so when we started with the four thoughts that turn the mind, the first of the contemplations is contemplating precious human rebirth with leisures and endowments. And so we come to an understanding of, wow, this is such a precious opportunity that we have, in this body, in this lifetime as a human being.
tinta nga to human being te katang kun huwa na yir precious love yorwa inada di kare hubina tanga so samnoji tang gogdo mercy di za chengbo res tin da za chengbo kandisri jik samnoji tang gogyo res.
So we say precious. So what, if we, what does that mean? What is it that is so special about being human?
Di da za chengbo ti ke karsena nga zo ta dechi roa ji ne kap tang tartok ni song le tenjor ju mulu ti ke tene ne kap yang dechi drop tong ken jek dang tene tartok yang ta tarwa tamji hembe kompang drop to ya koda nupan rawoji yungu yores.
So in the Buddhist context, what that means, or what is so precious or special about being human, is that we have the capacity to create the causes for like inner well-being, happiness and contentment in a temporary sense, and also in an ultimate sense, that it's this opportunity that provides us with the capacity to achieve liberation and ultimate awakening or enlightenment.
That indu that tambo di nga ta ultimate liberation ti jik samno matang bina tanda pena nekap ke dechi se ji yungu yorwa jibo dechi se ji go yowa tang yung tu yowa jeres.
But even if we just put aside like that lofty goal, that ultimate goal of liberation and enlightenment, if we just think about, temporarily speaking, the ability to develop well-being and happiness.
다 가서 happy siyak 직 그러와 대wo 용바 지wo 용바 뒤 가르세나 다들 내가 침보래샤 뒤인들이 즉 당본의 제대종으로 직당 당본의 용대종으로 직당 이하면은 즉 automatically 즉 용관다고 딘리 인사 말이스.
So happiness, well-being, contentment, these things, it's really important that, we acknowledge that, that these aren't just, things that are a given. It's not like that is like originally like in our life, like that we have it to begin with, that that it comes automatically. So it isn't necessarily given, that we have happiness and well-being.
어다티 인도 다테 간디직 중벌에스 썸노 땅국도 다테 까녜직 요와라와 까녜 들라 동렌치네라와 동나라 세야직 디기 까녜치 요와 들라데 까녜 디티네 시야 탑시지 지네 되네 까녜 딘 중공카리도 까녜다 간리리도 어다 딘디직 지네 땅원에 지네 둥에 세야 돼고 대화래도 와 기세 둥에 미나 대화가 하면도 와 따뜻 딘디 둥에데 자치모 있어래 섬도 상가랑 섬다나.
So there is a connection here with suffering, actually, because when we think about how we develop happiness and well-being, happiness only exists in juxtaposition to its opposite, which is hardship and suffering. And so when, based on the fact that, we have difficulty, we have hardship, we have suffering, this becomes the impetus, the incentive to create happiness and well-being. And so really, actually, it is this suffering that leads us to develop the opposite, well-being and happiness and contentment, because that becomes the place out of which happiness arises. And so actually, suffering is happiness in a way.
락 다 가서 디가 나기 다 추르고요와 가진 추르고요래 담번에 다지 코드로고야 그 줌센지요와 대성으로더니 코르와 세야 가서 참에다 코르와네 베타르는 보러와 not like temporary like furthermore 텔라 가스나 맞죠 타르바 세야지요와 타르바 톱 세야텔라 코르와이 말이와 코르와미나 타르와요 말와 어데 텔레 때니 맞죠 단다 녜다 섬나 야보 땅베까블라 제탕가서 능에서 야보 하고요 말이다 능이 하고 말와 다 능에서 야보 지 하고비나 되네 다 단단가서 지 추드비야 존두주미야 참아라 다 능에 될 때에 다 종교사를 된 거다니.
And then, we have Dharma practice, we have spiritual practice. Why? Why do we engage in Dharma practice? Why do we engage in spiritual practice? And so there's a reason, and the reason is because of the opposite, the suffering, because we are trapped in the delusion of samsara, and so there being the delusion of samsara is what facilitates the possibility of awakening, liberation, and enlightenment. And so without samsara, there's no nirvana. Without samsara, there's no potential for liberation. And so in the same way, when we don't, first we have to understand suffering. What is the benefit of really understanding suffering? Then we understand the reason to engage in spiritual practice, to practice the Dharma, to apply joyful effort or diligence in our Dharma practice. And then it is based on that then we create the causes and the conditions for freedom from suffering. For well-being and happiness.
제가 너 이게 다 가서 대송벌이 데려와 책지 요리다. 책이 갈세나 유나스 티초바스. 된대게 됐어와. 되네 미나 탑차바스. 다데 미나 되네. 요 말이스 탑차. 오다디. 오다디 갈세나 장접셈 시야다 차다. 장접셈 지부 말이다. 당봉고 쭉사디 닝지 참바 되네. 다 되네 야야 손데 되네. 제와 되네 다토디 다 장접셈이 말이. 오다디 간이 중고요래. 와. 소모 여보다나 능해지 요와 깡해지 요이 줌센들레데네 당가서 샘제기 요로와 대마도 비게 즉 능해미는 가서 샘제시 유거라 차노고요 말이스.
So there's a saying that has to do with bodhicitta. Actually, it is, if you have it, it is enough. If you don't have it, I often want to say, like the English saying, like, if you have it, it's enough. If you don't have it, you have, like, you're out of luck. It's kind of like the way it sort of sounds in Tibetan, but it's meaning, like, if you have it, it's enough. If you don't have it, there's no method, is what it's getting at. And so in this is in reference to bodhicitta, but it's not just bodhicitta, and they're all, everything that is connected with these positive qualities of heart and mind. So love and compassion, and then that is what ultimately develops. The highest developed level of that is bodhicitta, the mind of awakening. And so again, so the dungal che yobala tene simche se yo. So again, the kind of soil for these qualities to arise from or to grow from is suffering. So with suffering, then, as the kind of cause, the original cause in a way, then we have these objects for generating these enlightened qualities of the mind, love, compassion, and bodhicitta.
Okay, maybe first so maybe not too many questions, but also you're thinking about suffering is good or suffering is bad. I have a question.
So he wants you to think about that. Like, take a moment and think about what you think about that.
Or either way, online or person. So.
And if anyone would like to share, raise your hand, online or in person.
Okay.
Beverly?
I think that if there wasn't any type of suffering people couldn't grow and learn because we learn from our mistakes, right? So if we touch the stove and it's hot, you suffered for a little hot minute, but now you know not to touch the stove, right? So I think that you can learn from everything, so including suffering.
Yeah, actually that's very good. So that's another thing. So we strength and power,
Inner strength.
inner strength, is come from the suffering. If there is no suffering, maybe we don't know, maybe look like grass, So just, I don't know, weak or another thing is I believe, or experience is if there's no suffering, and then I think this kind of like not much purpose of our life.
And our life doesn't really have much purpose.
Yeah. But so everybody different.
Also, I was thinking, too, that if there wasn't any suffering, there would be no reason for change. And all these advancements in technology are a result of somebody probably didn't want to hand wash clothes anymore because it bothered them, so they created washing machines and dryers and telephones and all of this, and we wouldn't have that if there wasn't suffering first.
Okay.
Hello, Drupon. I agree with, I think it was Beverly who was speaking, but at the same time, I
So
feel
I guess I would say
neither good nor bad because
ultimately suffering is always good. It's only bad if you see it as the effect. If you see it as the cause, it's good. So it's just it's a mental gymnastics
So, pena
concept.
Debu nangshin tongna, yabo yomarawa. Ju nangshin tongna, yabo chagiore.
Yeah. Okay. That's true, yeah.
Thank you. For me, it's how life goes. It's the changes of the season, and their ups and downs, like the rain that we got today, and now it's sunshine. It's like sometimes I can be in happiness and joy and possibly become complacent or content with it, be comfortable in that situation, and then something difficult comes along that causes me suffering. And it's like, okay, am I not, with my practice as much, or am I the cause? So but then that is only temporary too. So everything is temporary, and it's all just part of the learning process. It's just part of life. It's seasons go, I believe. So a roller coaster. Sometimes you're going, and then sometimes it's like, ooh, when you hit the platform and get off. So anyways, that's my opinion. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Nice to see
Yeah.
you.
hello?
Yes, so this is, yes, so we live long, so just, so you said, same thing up and down, they're changing. But also we have to looking for like kind of permanent enjoyment, so that's in order to, I think, difficulties and the sufferings, and then, but also I don't know, it depends somebody who is suffering, just that don't do anything, then they're not changing, But if you be feeling, particularly I think my opinion is, if on difficulties, don't have something on, have difficulties, problems.
We don't have our own difficulties.
But there, I don't think that maybe there's no such things, love to others, care others.
There's no possibility for
right.
us to have that.
Then, if you not care others, not thinking others, and then in the life, purpose life is just very weak, so they didn't see meaningful. Like these days, many people like cannot believe next life, and also even though many people thinking, just only brain, that's it,
All we are is our brain.
right?
Yeah.
So that is actually my thinking is a little bit scary, So then our eyes look like machine, like a coffee maker, coffee machine.
We're all just coffee makers.
Yeah, coffee making broad, and that's it, done, finish,
Then not
So
much
these are our
purpose.
life like this, how we feel. So because our life is very special, because we love, compassion, care others, like further, like kind of bigger view, bigger responsibilities, bigger purpose, meaningful we have. But otherwise only, there's no next life, no karma. Everything's bring, die, and that's it. I don't know, looks like life is not that special, right? Precious human life not that special, and also what's the purpose, Meaningful life is, I don't know, we can light up fire, go away, gone, fire is dead, Water is start, no more water, or bring dead. So that's, I said, like, it's the mission, So I think we are really, really, particularly I believe, but I am practitioner, or I don't know, I believe born in Buddhism. That's why, but I really is the, we are really meaningful life, I understand, So human beings are precious, and we are doing is like purpose, also our goal, goal.
Our goal.
Yeah, tinga tota jumsen yorwa. Nga so chargi yore, jumsen yores.
So we have purpose and we have a goal.
Alright, tienditene tepe
And we have a
chembores.
plan.
This is big.
said.
This is very big.
And this is a really big deal.
Right, and many people like also maybe they don't have the goal. Maybe I just get the job, only job, but you get the job. Just done, there's not much, So, but we are, I think, love, compassion, care others. So we're thinking like even those small things, others, right? That's a huge.
When small things are
Others,
our
others. So that's
intent is to benefit others. That's a really
so
big
they're
deal.
we kind of like interesting. This energy, power, kind of pretty good, really strong, stable. So what the inditang so the okay. So yeah, sorry. I think I disturbing. So you have more questions or comments?
Yes, I think Lisa has something online. Lisa, can you unmute, please?
Thank you and good morning. Just I wanted to say that I agree with what everyone has said,
Okay.
but at the same time, I
I can't hear
believe,
you, Lisa. Just a minute.
hello? Can you hear?
Maybe, Lisa, can you write it?
Oh, I
Maybe you
don't
can
know,
write it.
Lisa.
There's
Maybe
something
we couple things. 니요 티키 고금이나 하고.
Oh, right. Tenzin,
This
he's
is-
thinking because he's logged in onto this one through the hotspot. He's wondering if that's part of the issue.
Okay, can you hear now?
Oh, okay.
That's
Yes.
okay, Lisa. If you can just text your message, maybe. Can't hear you, Lisa. That was what. Yeah.
She said it's okay.
Okay.
But I did have another comment. Like with suffering, like all the suffering that people have endured, like you yourself, Drupon, have endured suffering, and that because of that suffering, you're able to benefit people by empathizing with their suffering. And then you can lead them to, or you can, guide them when things are really rough because you have that experience. Because it's easier to relate to other people that have that same experience so you can benefit other sentient beings. So I think suffering is a two-edged sword.
Okay. Thank you. Probably so. Okay. 오다 데려와. 다디 제가 나기게 땅가서 디 제 현편스야 땅냐마테요. 심지반의 현동체 양다조베 창첩노 송로와. 심지 현은 심지바의 현동체
Wait, Simji?
심지베의 현동 심지스야 다 카레. 슬라비나 테네 현통도 체야레스.
Zobe Sanji.
테네 심지바의 현동체 양다조베 창첩도 다 텐데 요나 테네 양다보조베 산지 톱그레스.
So, as it is said, when generating the mind of bodhicitta for the benefit of others becomes the cause for one's own attainment of complete Buddhahood.
다 티가 좀베 카르세고래 지 precious이라와 자첨부 휴직 레카스.
And so that is what is truly precious, really meaningful and precious.
티인디티네 다티 no matter 단단가서다 technology 베 여진도고요와 여진도고요레 이내양 베나 단다디 지 닝제 여진도데 샘키 주지요와 다테 콘서 여지당 투면도와
Got it. The technology. So, like for instance, technology on the other hand, like no matter how much advancement there is and, like development of technological advancement, it can never become, something that's going to take the place of that or that can directly be the cause of compassion in your mind.
So other things, we see how much we quickly the artificial intelligence technology chat GPT. DeepSeek. That's okay. Go. Tanda. Chilo to zongo bodo zeung gres lang. Zeug do. Ngazo. Hako gres lang. Yeah. So this, this one hand is artificial,
Artificial intelligence.
And also
Chat GPT.
Chat GPT. So other things. So many people lose the job. They do things, very easy to find quickly. And so if you're learning maybe 20 years ago, everything's relying on your teacher, right? Your teacher take time, you spend as the teacher.
It's like a slow process.
Like really, really take a long time you study. But these days, just no need teacher, no need to worry about the teacher, and just you can
just ask Chat
find
GPT.
that 1 second, So one hand is this, not bad, but also like whatever sickness, nerves, and or they do, but they cannot produce love, compassion. They cannot change it. They can, I said, whatever you ask, other things you can ask, they know, but they don't know the develop the inner, love, compassion, care others. So that is, I think, really special in, practice. So we need that, Yes, we need understanding quickly, that's okay, so questions, maybe no need to teach her. Maybe that's okay, so maybe one day, one hand is sad, so maybe there are no human beings, so you go. Actually, this, I don't know you guys, but I mostly traveling a lot, So 20 years ago, 50 years ago, they're human beings. Even that time, I don't know the English. But okay, they're human beings, I go to airport, ask, sort of like a bit, even like not good communication, proper English, but they're kind of, okay, this boarding pass, or they're human beings, okay, yeah, you could go there, Not difficult, actually, never problems in the 20 years ago, I don't know English, nothing. But really, no issues. They're human beings there. But now, there are no human beings. What we do, like just kind of, even though we are not good English, but English speakers born here, how confusing. Where is that? Cannot do anything like. And then we said something questions, even the person maybe ELN, these problems. Oh, go ahead, you online. Where's online? How can I find? Actually, big problem, right? I think, and slowly, there's already, but maybe one day is no people. So maybe these younger generations, they may be okay. But one hand, maybe like convenient, maybe no paper money, maybe no credit card, just phone, One hand it looks convenient, but one hand is really hard, So, but anyway, so I think, particularly, I think Dharma is very important, Also, this kind of situation, So maybe one day it's just, I said maybe we become like coffee machine, That's not good.
If we become one day like a coffee machine, that's not good.
So, that in the that the Katsandi that you don't, but you have tax. Okay,
Good morning.
So sorry, because usually we print out the handouts for each class, but because the power was out this morning, we weren't able to do that. But those of you who are online, you should have last week's handout about the 3 types of suffering that characterize samsara.
Also more important, I want to
Oh, okay.
couple things.
We're not ready.
Another thing is that practice Dharma chiya de pe kechembori dowa. Then zambaling kinala kariyore dowa. Develop karchiyore. Sena ta pena bam reg damanda. Zayak reg damanda. Namdun damanda. Nuclear weapon. That tandi sogiyorwa muk. That is hansanya peda. Loyulin devi powerful fast. Thinley sogiores.
So another thing is that, kind of connected with the importance of Dharma practice, is that in the world, there is so much, there are so many like weapons of mass destruction now, like bombs and really advanced, fighter jets and like all, incredible types of nuclear weapons, like beyond our level of comprehension of just how powerful these weapons of death and destruction are.
We look at Zambaling Nala Jik Davina. Pitchet Yomada Karsana Magic like Nasopachi Gugu Sare, Magic protection Gosare, Jacob Jilla Sunjop Chiak, Nupandaniji, Yori Siaki, Jalakan Soyo Maris.
And so, unfortunately, there hasn't been the same degree of kind of extraordinary, perhaps intelligence put into things that are equally as powerful, but for the force of good. So, things that actually like really help people and create protection, sort of like invincible protection, for instance.
Don't you marry the wa?
Yeah, yomare.
What the gun you ta? Penanga some no tambina, man or some no tambina, that man they check that, man say, or pemba or that. Yin a young that Tayang to some lawyer watching down a business, go peshas or magic peshas or matobic, that your purpose.
There are some things that are hugely, incredibly positive, like medicine, the development of modern medicine. But on the other hand, it's not completely clean because the main motivating factor in these advancements is business and money and profit. And so therefore, there's benefit, but it's mixed.
And also, doctor, yore, doctor did that consult the paperwork kind of chigo, that legal, Tinde Ramato Baker, one ton in Nebatala Karinagi yore, cool situation carry, that to Zodan go grow, Benetazunga tene, that chick Nebala Carsena, that Pobek, Membe Honana, Carsena, Nebeke, tene, Membeke, Trinkes. Maybe keep Tambo Tawatangores, Karichigdo, some Yagotagores. Tigana ye get that land called patient Koran land jack, Tindichi, that things under winner, and that machine to Yorba, what that Tindi Chigos, in that Chimoyomara, take Chigmaro, to do Tangmari, to so Manches, Kawatan was not paperwork, consume Mombala, Temptos on the Jigchis on the Mechis on the Lamity, man jig dying style. You got tea in a uncle, most metal that better 1 minute over.
And even, doctors, whom may be well intentioned, of course, from their side, but because the system requires, there's so much around legality and paperwork and, productivity and, so it's really difficult, for a single patient to really get like the care and attention that they need. So, for instance, medicine in Tibet,
Or the doctors.
the doctors, Tibetan doctors, like the primary thing is for the doctor to make a human connection with the patient and to hear them and to understand what is going on with them and by taking questions, So there's a lot, if you ever go to a Tibetan doctor, you'll see like they ask, one question after another and really listen, to understand what is going on with the person. Whereas nowadays, it really feels
also
like...
patient, say clearly, this take time. So doctor caution what is issue, what is problem, how long, this called very details. And the patient, as much as possible what the situations while physically. So, but these days they don't have,
That's so, and so, yeah, it's a lot of it, there's, a lot that's more machine-based and like often
okay.
time
Most
is
they can
not
see things these days,
taken. And so, maungpa lagare yigi.
Also, this is actually, probably this is okay to, record, so this kind of, but
The records, they're
mostly
focused on
paperwork, right?
making records, yeah.
So this, I think you guys experience, I'm not sure, but mainly in the VC, the doctor, right? How much take the paperwork, okay? They only focus. I think so, maybe you guys nurse, maybe you more take care of the nurse or you more take care of the paperwork, so. It really is this kind of really hard. Normally, purpose is doctor and doctor together, okay, what their issues, what their problems, more time. But it's opposite, doctor and patient maybe 1 minute, okay, yeah, okay, done. And how much their paperwork, So anyway, so this,
Gillian, you have a confused look on your face. Oh, okay, all right. I didn't know if you had some input there.
Oh, no, I was just thinking how sometimes they don't even order great tests. because
Oh,
they're just
yeah, please
so-
take the.
They don't look at the patient, sorry. They don't look at the patient,
They
just-
don't, sometimes this also leads to mistakes.
Correct.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you can have all the machines in the world and all the tests in the world, but if you don't have somebody paying attention to the patient and listening to the patient, that's what they tell us in nursing. Always, don't look at the machines, look at the patient. Because it could be asystole on the thing and the person sitting there talking to you. If I look at the machine, they're dead, but if I'm talking to them, they're alive.
I just wanted to make the point that often a lot of the paperwork is geared to protecting the doctors from
Yeah.
from liability, basically, taking, right.
Yeah.
yeah, of course, that's sure. But this kind of little bit, the world is like upside down, people try to sue, that's very few, but
Any opportunity they
actually
can to
doctor's
sue, yeah.
job is cure the sickness, their job, But I say world is upside down a little bit, so try to harm to each other, mostly purpose, So yeah, of course, that the patient, sometimes patients strange patient then said, oh, I took your medicine, I did this and that, so, but I don't know, that's a few, but I don't know, so, okay.
But again, if you take that back to the lack of like real human to human connection, because if a patient is really
But,
connected with their
Right, so
doctor,
this if, right?
they're not going to sue them
we
because they
wish, or
care for
if
them.
everybody has compassion, okay, then it's actually perfect world, But we don't, so then everywhere's problem.
I was just going to chime in and say, as a professor, when I began, it was much more satisfying for the students and certainly for me, I know, because there wasn't so much technology and you were talking, you were making a bond with the students and you could listen to them and and people would come to office hours more likely, and one-on-one you could talk. And now, by the time I retired, I was completely swamped with stuff, making records, and the bond was lost. And maybe that's true with all new technologies. They have these challenges and sufferings they create. So our challenge is to learn from this and to renew in all ways we can the need for that human bond. There's no substitute.
Dini mo yang dangpo de gege lega go tsutu. Dini be human to human ro yorwa. Dini yang be chama gare de tes mixel jawarwa. Dini yang kale morang la yang dinda de pena paperwork mangwa ro yorwa. Dini dila dini duzu dila mangwa che goa. Dini de munsundu pensungi yang connection tes nyungro cha. Dini ngatso chitang de garela ko gare de dingdu gi netsu mixel kale kapo dila ngatso yang dila yang samlo tangne dini yarje nune doya kitapsi do che go sare.
That's true, exactly.
I was going to say, the older nurses, like myself, and the newer nurses are afraid to go in the room and talk to the patient. They would rather stand outside the room and text them or message them, because everybody has the capacity now to message your patients and your doctors and all that, as opposed to having any kind of real interaction,
Wow.
which is terrifying.
The pena mo nangshin the pena neo tesa lo chea yorwa deni mito yagi bakha tawo yorwa ini lo chungwa gi neo dezo kongso de pena the text message gi lukso dawo cha yorwa deni kongso yang pena the nepa dawo yena deni nepa de matu ne the text message taya gagi yorwa neo dezo.
Right, that's just true. Yeah, so the patient maybe cannot see the, if say, you maybe cannot see the text message. So that's right, and also this, but I don't know, but really it's no choice, but supposed to, we think, oh, we have technology, we quickly this and that, maybe now it's our time. But no, nobody's much worse than before, right?
Well, it's supposed to give us more time.
Oh, okay, free. Okay, now technology makes
But it's the opposite.
Okay, this we have, long time ago we swept. There's no vacuum or those things. Just
We didn't have a
orally
vacuum, we
cooking
just
and
swept.
wash the dish. This. So now these machines, okay, maybe now it's free, but no free at all.
No free time.
Right.
Maybe not. We're supposed to have free time
Much
because of all
worse,
the conveniences.
So, but anyway, so I think we are okay, Dharma practice, So yes, of course, we live in the world, whatever, we can follow, We are no choice. But same time, I think we really important is likaba practice daily, or maybe likaba way of the, maybe technology, poem. So this,
Like put our
if you do
technology
that
away,
practice,
our phone.
and then we have like kind
Yeah.
of meaningful life, strength life, and peaceful life. Otherwise, we can follow up in the technology, those things. So never end, faster. We just fall behind, so this is just very difficult. So, but as much as he can, but mainly is the practice, I think. Okay, Steve.
Well, I come from a medical family. My father was a doctor, so I've heard quite a few of the statistics about medicine. But as you probably know, the United States is like number, 44 or something, or 49 in the world, despite all our wealth and affluence.
49 in the
49th
world
health,
for what?
Yeah, and generally in health care.
Oh, you mean in our standards?
In other words,
Yeah.
Goods received by the patients, from doctors, hospitals, nurses, etc. The whole system. Also, the greatest opposition to national health insurance, which most of Europe has and much of the world, has been from the American Medical Association itself. That is, the doctors. And if you take a survey of doctors who are in medical school or would-be doctors in medical school, the primary motive for them is a good salary, making money. It is not delivering health to their patients. So that really sets aside this country from much of the rest of the world, including
right.
Tibet and Europe and much of the rest. So.
De damandala songin nuni chini de ari jalka pe chupo yorwa nuni chini ngato denda de pena memba gi dona la ang dangpo yingo gi yorwa yine ngato ang dangpo yomare angge jipju ji gure and damboling nanga deni yang de memba gi lukso kongso dambo memba jango samba de so de pesha soya ki dunda yoroa tene pesha soya de yang de priority rawo yena tene de nune shim
That's
na
true, yeah.
pengoa kapo
Yes, medicine cabinets, your refrigerator.
Right, right. Okay, so now we back to that. What is the? So you can read that this one.
Okay, so we'll read.
I think second. We first one finished, right? So second.
No, I don't think we did read the first one. We just
We
read
did.
did we read,
Yeah.
the all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence? We didn't. Nga zo dampo de lo yorwa. Dampo de like ngotro dawo.
Really, that did our second.
That's number one.
Okay.
So, so we're in the category, the second category of the defects of samsara, which are the 3 types of suffering. So we read the introduction for that last time, and now we're on the first of the 3 types of suffering, which is the all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence. So I'll just read that. In the ornament of precious liberation. Oh, we'll wait till we get there. I think you have a different document. Actually, I think you have the. Yeah, this was from the very first one, the first weekend. These are the faults of samsara. So actually, there's another document that's on the 3 types of suffering. Does anyone have maybe quick access to that they could screen share?
Or maybe just because.
It's okay. We can just read it. We don't have to have it. All right, so I'll just read it. In the Ornament of Precious Liberation, it says, the suffering of conditioned existence has a neutral feeling. The suffering of change has a feeling of pleasure about it, and overt suffering actually feels like suffering. The moment we are born, we are bound to the aggregates, which in themselves are the nature of suffering. Even if we temporarily experience happiness and pleasure, there is the underlying current of potentiality, or rather the inevitability of change. This generates a very subtle level of anxiety and stress. It is said that this type of all-pervasive suffering is so subtle that it is not even perceived by ordinary beings. It is very acutely seen and experienced, however, by noble beings. The example that is often given is that for ordinary beings, this type of suffering is like a hair resting in the palm of one's hand. But for noble beings, it is like a hair caught in the eye. Essentially, this type of suffering contains every aspect of conditioned existence and is what most fundamentally characterizes the unsatisfactory nature of even the most pleasant of experiences to be found in samsara.
어디 가르쳐나가 저 데리다 자본주의 그동안 세야돼 태양되니 하고 그래서 되는데 산지게 이렇게 당봉가 저다 대송구도와 동ар 해버차 송구도와 동ar 세야돼 요와지 되니 하고 그래서 되는데 대 하고야라 다 단다 공도 변나 저 자본주의 그동안도 이미나 즉 단다양 출방아 되오도 삼바이나양 고텔라 고 동에기 차디 요레스 타동 동이 요레스 제니 니네 갈세는 가서 참례 양 가서디 동에요 하고 말anga 되오이가 지보도 도 삼고 요레스.
So the jema di apokoma song the nga debodo nga kiboyin. So this all-pervasive suffering of conditioned existence is important to know, like when we say, for instance, in the context of the Four Noble Truths, the first noble truth, you should know the truth of suffering, you should understand the truth of suffering. And so this means understanding that even when we think everything is fine, there's still actually embodied existence is the nature of suffering itself, by like the very fact that we are bound to the aggregates. And so this subtle type of suffering, we just said, is not perceived, by ordinary beings. But it is there, it underlies. So even when we think, oh, I'm fine, I'm happy, I'm good, I'm enjoying myself, I'm enjoying life, there's still this underlying subtle level of unsatisfactoriness or suffering.
Exactly. Yeah. So terewa ta ti indu ngata tanda ta chik terewa o ngata tanda ngachibu dos rowa nagi mendos ta nga pe hya yu jibo yu no samgu yori ti yina yang tadong ngato ti kars completely satisfaction yo mares rowa samotambina ta lacking o ngata mambo jingdig yo mata until rowa chik sem ku nelok thombina tene kota ngone ta digidos ta dewa rawa ngato 다 단다디 대화디 코로나 가져들라 authentic 차기요 말에 대화데 고 temporary 대화들라 양 원에기 대화 마인바 superficial 도 인반도 오지 이내 가서 다 단단게라 인방아 대오도 나나기 민도 다 단다 집자당가 잠마페 덱도 도 삼비 이나양 되네 다디 야보직 다나 담보 상제종 반나 동안 해버 제가서 다 저랑 completely satisfied you better 코로나 authentic deva duge samatamina deva yomares othini ta ha khogruwa ta anate kharstu gres ta samutang gruwa ta ti ngoni ji junchane nimaji ta dangzi de khale ma se ro ta dun zamba de se ne tene ji ta kharse gre chagdang ke jalen deva zo de chakpada dangwe jalen de sona ta ngoni dungar tha deva thamba se ta deva thoba ta nga deva in ta jibo in deva rawa. And
so this is, to highlight the fact that what is true contentment, true well-being, true happiness lies beyond kind of our ordinary experiences of well-being and happiness. So, we may think, oh, I'm good, I'm happy, I'm enjoying life, I'm not sick, when we're not afflicted by overt suffering and we think, everything is going great. But until that's not actually the case, there is not ever complete satisfaction there, which is why we're bound by attachment and aversion, trying to get it all the time. But it's nowhere to be found in embodied existence. So until we realize the unchanging happiness of the true nature, like until we realize the true nature of awareness and abide within that, then there's always this current of an underlying dissatisfaction. So there might be, so it's not authentic. We have temporary experiences of happiness and joy and well-being, but these are superficial, they're temporary, they change. So even when we think, oh, everything's fine and I'm good, I'm great, if we really think about it, we realize that happiness will change into suffering and that we're not completely satisfied deep down. And so this is what is really kind of the important point with, the first of the Four Noble Truths, which is you should understand, you should know the truth of suffering, meaning that, that which we don't even identify as suffering is actually suffering. So, because we can't take like a temporary or a period of joy and well-being and happiness and extend it so that it's always like that until we overcome the mind of self-grasping. If as long as there's self-grasping, we're bound. And as long as we're bound, there's lack of true satisfaction and happiness. And as long as that is the case, we're always trying to fill that void with attachment, pushing away what we see as the cause of suffering and trying to get what we perceive as the cause of happiness. And it's an endless cycle. And so so there's never any real true, that is why it is said, there's no real true happiness to be found in samsara, in cyclic existence.
All right, so this also, I think, as long as we something relying on external things, so then there's no true happiness.
So that's another way he's saying to frame it. As long as our happiness is dependent on external things, it's not going to give us true happiness.
얘는 양다 가시양 고 갈세나 지 대용구도와 다나 공티원다 백해 차당대 개침부 시우로와 디엔디니 지 갈세고다 당가 좀 생각이 드네 요래 무색이 나나 플렉시블 고구도와
So another important thing is that so kashe yang chadang ke chimbo.
레다 조 차당데스 와
So
이나 다디 이나 차당 요나세나 다 요나 말에 이나야 고 이따 차당 제하데 콜레로 요 말에 갈세나 고 뭐서 rely on 뭐서 지부 말와고 뭐뭐지 뜬고 그러와 대송고 뜬사데 가르고스나 유 투다 랑다 되는 뭐뭐지 뜬 거로와 이나테 뜬고 그래 뜬고도 고다 차당 제스기리 이네 양다 티치비 까라 맞아 flexible 지고 요레스
okay. So because of this mind of attachment, and because of like this situation of being bound, you know, to the aggregates, and the mind of self-grasping is present, and so we rely to some extent always on outer objects for our happiness. So attachment and aversion arises, and so what we're always trying to do, either whether there are degrees of consciousness around that, or level of being conscious of what we're doing. But what we're trying to do is we're trying to make everything in create harmony in our outer circumstances that is going to allow for happiness and well-being or joy on an external level. And so with this idea that if everything is just so, we'll be happy if we can do that. So because that is impossible, then we have to also develop flexibility so that there is more independence in our happiness and well-being that is not so dependent on outer conditions being just so. So that flexibility, yes, there's attachment and aversion there, he said, inevitably, but together with that, we also have more flexibility. Right?
Look, it is like hawk in fly.
It's like a hawk flying.
This, not only hawk, but the bird, the fly.
So not just a hawk, but actually any bird, like birds fly, right?
Flexible.
But they're so flexible. They don't get stuck. They're unimpeded when they fly through the sky. They can go up, they can go down, they can, they have all this space to fly in.
In the sky or in the space,
so we can think of like the hawk's space that he flies through is like samsara.
So
we're in samsara.
In the space.
And we have attachment and aversion because that's the situation. But we have to make it like so that it doesn't impede us, so we don't get stuck.
Go flexible, so just still go through, so it just, or web, comes, goes. Actually, interesting.
It's also another analogy is waves. He said like waves that come and go.
So these webs or water, the fish is not stuck,
The fish don't
but
get
human
stuck.
beings maybe can die, So that's stuck or whatever, cannot breathing and so like bird, they're okay, but human beings cannot fly and stuck and maybe fall down. So this we have, afflictive, what is the
Attachment and aversion.
So
Or craving and aversion. We could say a craving and aversion is
but
sometimes more apt.
yes, they comes, but we not stuck there. That's okay. Just try to kind of easy to flow. So that's why if you have that, and then so this the 대화 지금 거와 토구요레스.
So a lot of our well-being and happiness comes down to that, our level of flexibility.
So this you see looks birds, very easy, fly. There seems to be no need effort, right? Enjoy. Looks like and fish, swimming. So actually, this is a very good example. So we are here, right? With whatever this or samsara, but we have to flexible, okay. Right now looks everything's good, it's good, You're not stuck, attached to there. Or maybe it seems to be difficult. Maybe there are problems, But you feel, but you're not stuck there, okay? You have to go past, okay? It's just flexible. So that is we kind of learning again and again and again. So then it really is the maybe one day freedom.
Maybe one day freedom.
From not rely on.
The more flexible we become.
Yeah, also not rely on whatever this.
Outer objects.
Or objects or inner afflictive emotions. So that is, I think, the main thing. Of course, we have Dharma practice, many different chanting, visualization, meditation, but also, meantime, so we build up. So how they build up, so just flexible, just. So then this we kind of strength, kind of imprint more and more and more. And then one day, maybe like external things, maybe issues, problems, but there's no power.
They don't have any power over us, like the difficult situations or outer circumstance.
Okay. So some, okay, you read one more time, or that's enough?
Should it? You want me to read another section, or read one more?
Actually, only 3 minutes.
Okay. Yeah.
So you have some couple of questions or comments? But actually we talk, so feeling. So I don't know, so this is my thinking, according to Dharma, but same time also my experience. But also kind of, the Buddha said, analyze, so look a bit. So we know, kind of analyze external things we we know, but we're not familiar in the, inner, like analyze expectations, what they're going on.
Introspection or investigating, yeah.
Investigating, so we don't. So that's sometimes like a bit, we are Dharma practitioners, so just thinking about, like I say this, like very difficult to understand suffering, no one don't want to suffer, right? That's bad.
No one wants to suffer.
Right.
We think of it, suffering is bad.
But there we're really working on, the deeper sense, like investigating, suffering, what the suffering is doing or result is, if you look in also meditators, that suffering is precious than your happiness, right? If you know suffering, maybe then no happiness. So that's why then suffering is not bad. But first we say, oh, suffering, oh, that's terrible, suffering. But so those kind of things we in our learning. So because we have difficulties, necessarily suffering, but human beings, so they have problems, difficulties. That's why we have much learning, how much we progress, how much we strengthen. Or also that's why we put Dharma practice. You feel maybe no suffering or you're okay, then maybe no one's practice Dharma either. They said actually God realm. So
So in the God realms, this is the fault of the God realms.
Right? So these are the merit.
So much merit.
They said no suffering.
So
so
much no suffering.
No Dharma either.
So they don't
So
have
they
any Dharma
forget
either.
it completely. So we have difficulties actually help us. So okay.
There's a question online from Wayne. Question for Rinpoche. Part of our suffering comes from not accepting our impermanence. So my question arises, is it true that the Buddha did not believe in reincarnation? Did the Buddha believe in rebirth? What then is the difference between reincarnation and rebirth then?
So this Buddha, what's that? Buddha not accept.
So the Sanjay. So this is a hard thing to translate because I think what's happening here is that reincarnation, when you're saying the Buddha didn't believe in reincarnation, it's like the idea that like you're the exact same entity in this life, like the soul that goes to the next life, I'm guessing. Because I would say, yes, the Buddha of course the Buddha believes in reincarnation, but making that distinction between reincarnation and rebirth, I don't think Drupon necessarily knows the distinction between these terms in English. Reincarnation dang, rebirth, injikela tes kaka yorwa, tes kaka yorwa.
Buddha
De injide gainsena de Sanjay chewa napsela kelingyo mare zeware lauki yorwa. Tini tendam yomare. So
what's that?
Sanjay chewa napsela. He's like, what do you mean? The Buddha, of course the Buddha believes in reincarnation. Yeah, but the word in Tibetan is different. It's like literally past and future lives is how we say reincarnation in Tibetan. But there maybe in English there's that subtle distinction that is being made. Maybe that's why you've heard that.
So question
Wayne. Question dire gayan sina yina yang di lau gyurwa pena de signi yorwa injikela reincarnation ngaso chewa navze la gerwa rebirth lamna chewa navze la gerwa bukela yina yang chik china reincarnation yana de pena o nga de da dodo che de se de dampo yore dene se jima yang chegyo ba tesa chepar yojire chik china.
Hindati ko chewa ngauchi chekwara wa ina ta ngaso main te reincarnation lamna chik la purpose no nga chewa tanda lama ina chewa jema lama ro je ketene purpose no re ina ya ta matsama sama je pot sama reincarnation yore
So
ina
he's
sanje ke
interesting.
thakoma sanje la kala wor
So he's wondering if the difference is that reincarnation, that word implies intention or purpose. Like a Buddha can reincarnate, or a Lama, somebody who has the power to choose, their next birth might reincarnate. But but as samsaric beings, it's rebirth because
but basically same thing.
we are born according to our karma, but still he thinks it means it. So he's not understanding what the Buddha said is or doesn't believe. And so maybe Wayne, you could give us like more background on the source, like of where you saw that and the context that you saw it?
Yeah, hello, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
I see you're trying to talk, but we can't hear you. Today, it's not
That's
working.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, all right,
Can you
let me
guys
clarify.
online?
Okay, let me,
That's interesting.
Yeah, I see that you're speaking, but we can't hear you. Sorry.
Only you're hearing. Would you? Maybe hearing
Let
here
me
now.
clarify. I was reading other documents. Other books. Other books, and I read this. I believe that this Lama said, I will quote, yeah, the Buddha did not believe in reincarnation. Yeah, so without thinking that there's some other meaning, implied meaning in the term reincarnation, that would not be accurate.
Take a look.
Reincarnation
Tati yore la. Tati ko.
Yeah, so the Buddha did believe in reincarnation.
Ta jewa ngachi ko la hiu yore sanji jerap sanji korang ke jerap te pe bom song yoris.
In fact, the Buddha talked a lot about, saw what people were in their former lives and knew exactly what his former lives were. And so there are tons of sutras that discuss this. I saw another, can you put the chat box up? Because I saw something, an announcement, I'll go down a little bit about, from Zhongwar. Go down. Okay, go down. Okay, please be aware, Drupon Rinpoche leaves for Ladakh on May 13th, returning July 12th. Kimbo Yeshe will teach on Sundays when Drupon is unable to, so there will be an email sent out. Yeah, okay. Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you have some questions or comments?
I have just one question, just for the
They
sake of
can't
it.
hear you in the shrine room.
It looks like Sean is trying to say something, but again, we cannot hear you guys, unfortunately, today over Zoom. We're not sure what the issue is. Sorry.
If you are in Zoom and you
Sorry
have a
about
question,
that.
please
Yeah.
type it out.
Next time.
Thank you.
Okay, I guess I'll type it out. Okay.
Okay, so if you know,
I'm gonna.
So dedication. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, everyone, and thank you for your patience with the power outage today. Thank you for joining us.
Okay, to page 24 in the prayer book. By the virtues collected in the three times, by myself and all beings in samsara and nirvana, and by the innate root of virtue, May I and all beings quickly attain unsurpassed, perfect, complete, precious enlightenment. May the teachings of the great Drupon Ratna Shri, who is omniscient, Lord of the Dharma, Master of interdependence, continue and increase through study, practice, contemplation, and meditation until the end of samsara. And then to page 19. Bodhicitta, the excellent and precious mind, where it is unborn, may it arise. Where it is born, may it not decline, but ever increase higher and higher. Changchub Sencho Rinpoche Ma Ke Pana Ke Kyurje Ke Pa Nyam Pa Me Pa Yam Gong Ne Gong Du Pelvarjo Changchub Sencho Rinpoche Ma Ke Panam Ke Kyurje Ke Pa Nyam Pa Me Pa Yang Gong Ne Gong Du Pelvarjo.
Right. So we have teachings. So next Sunday too. So
Yeah,
we
so
are here.
so Drupon Rinpoche will be here. We will both be here next Sunday, May 11th, and then he travels to India on May 13th, and then there will be a little bit more flexibility in the schedule, but we will continue with these Sunday Dharma talk and the continued practice on the fourth of these four thoughts that turn the mind, the defects of samsara.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Okay.
Have a good day, everyone.
Nice weather. Rain comes. Okay, so this power or internet is no. All right, okay, that's okay. But internet, so no. That's okay, I think we have the power. Maybe Daisy can release.
Steve, let's chat afterwards. Can you come on up?